I'm currently in Medina, Ohio, about to check out a museum filled with Christmas movie props and costumes. It's really an awesome museum, and you can even see a certain RV from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Welcome to Castle Noel. I'm the Christmas Aficionado, and let me share with you my Christmas experience. "30 miles south of Cleveland, Ohio, is a small town of Medina. It's a hallmark picture-perfect town with a courthouse square and a giant gazebo. And I explored the shops and ate some amazing little donuts from this little donut shop called Circles on the Square. Located around the corner from the donut shop on South Court Street is the former Medina Methodist Church that now houses America's largest year-round indoor Christmas museum. Inside is the largest privately owned collection of Hollywood Christmas movie props from movies including The Grinch, Elf, Santa Claus the movie, The Santa Claus, Jingle All the Way, Deck the Halls, and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's owned by Mark Klaus. Yes, that's his name. A skilled carpenter and artist, Klaus and his wife Dana opened Castle Noel in 2013, and it started with the first Christmas prop he ever acquired from a charity benefit. So what was your first movie prop you ever got?
That's over here. It's those foam donuts from the Grinch. Yes. So those foam donuts were part of a charity auction sale. My son found them online in 2000 when the movie was made, just after the movie was wrapped. And they were slicing them up into little tiny slices, putting them on a postcard of the Grinch and selling them for a charity. And so I contacted the lady that was doing the charity and I said, so tell me, what are you trying to do here? She explained her charity to me. It sounded like a good idea. I said, don't cut up any more donuts. Just tell me what you're trying to raise and we'll see if we can do that. And just send me the donuts. So that's what we did. And she sent us the donuts. And my son and I put on the DVD, excited to try to find the donut. Grinch cuts a hole in the floor. The tree falls through. The donuts are swinging back and forth.
Clearance sale. Everything must go.
And I thought, oh, that's awesome, right? I want to have, I think people would love to see this stuff, right? So let's start trying to find more of it. And it has gotten a little out of hand.
Since then, Mark has acquired a number of pieces from the film, including costumes, Martha May's engagement ring,
Please become Mrs. Augustus Mayhew.
and the giant Christmas sleigh prominently displayed in the room. To get the sleigh into the room, Mark and his team had to remove part of the building. So how did the sleigh get in here? Is that
One time only.
like is the bag?
The bag does deflate.
That's what I was gonna wonder. Yeah.
It took us a full day with a machine. We had to cut a hole in the building, and it sits right on top of all the supports under the building. So this is the spot, and this is the only time it's
Gotta have room.
going through those doors because we put a ramp up for our handicapped entrance out of concrete. So there's no physical way to get it out of the building.
Yeah.
Unless I cut a hole in the side of it.
So it's staying here forever.
Staying here forever. We're gonna keep this Christmas memory thing going for folks for a long, long time.
I love the look of it and everything, the way that they put it together.
There's some really interesting things that happen when you're in the mindset to find something amazing. And way at the beginning of this, when we were showing our collection of movie props at a friend of mine's soundstage, I said to my wife, I go, man, I would love to find the Cindy Lou Who bedroom set, because I think it's such a cool example of cartoon and Art Nouveau and just really neat. And it wasn't a couple of days later, the phone rang, and this lady goes, hey, I'm out in Colorado. I saw you on the internet, and I have Cindy Lou Who's bedroom set. Now, I never said anywhere public that I wanted to find this. And so I was like all excited. I'm like, oh, wow, do you want to sell it? And she's like, no. I'm like, oh, wow. So she said she wanted to turn it into a Cindy Lou Who style nail salon. And I was so upset because I thought this stuff is so, it's so special, and it should be, used for a display in a museum. And so I, over the next several months, convinced her that I could create for her a Cindy Lou Who salon, actual foot baths made to look like these in resin, and so things that she could actually use. So I worked the summer on building all the props for a Cindy Lou Who style nail salon. We loaded them all up in a trailer, drove across the country, and came home with this.
So this is the actual set. How did she acquire it?
There was a person that was involved in building star cars at the time, and she had a personal relationship with him somehow, and he was able to, when they were striking the set, just acquire massive piles of things. Where typically when you get movie props, you'll get a piece. There is the bed, there is the dresser. And this is all of the primary set pieces, which is neat. From the rugs, to the curtains, to the dressers, to the things on the table, the lamp. That lamp is from another Cindy Lou Who scene, though. If you remember when she's coming down the stairs and she sees the Grinch for the first time.
And the Grinch grabbed the tree, and he started to shout when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove.
Excuse me?
Had been caught by this tiny Who daughter.
She prominently moves right past that lamp. So because it's very Cindy Lou Who, that's why it's part of this display.
Awesome.
Hi, Leon. Why the long face, partner? It seems I'm not an elf.
Of course you're not. You're 6'3" and had a beard since you were 15.
These are all costumes from the movie Elf with Will Ferrell. This is the smaller version of the suit, which was for using at the North Pole. There's a picture of Will Ferrell buddy in that costume.
The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
And this is baby Susie's costume, if you remember Will Ferrell's or Elf's daughter at the end of the movie.
Yep.
I'm here, little one.
What I noticed about these costumes, more than some of the other costumes, is they are so well built. Like the materials are excellent, the stitching, the way that they attach. I mean, everything about them is just really, really beautifully done.
If you're a fan of Elf, you can see a number of the costumes, including the purple suit Buddy wore in the cut hockey sequence. Also on display is that gift for someone special.
I really love the gift to someone special because that is such a cool moment in the movie.
Yeah.
And really love to get that.
In the 2006 film Deck the Halls, Danny DeVito's character, Buddy, hopes to decorate his house so bright that it can be seen from space and annoy Steve, his neighbor, played by Matthew Broderick. The production built a giant house covered in LED lights, but also created a miniature of the house that Mark and his team has restored.
It's actually a metal house with like 200,000 fiber optic tips. And when I went to this auction, I was there live. It was flipped around kind of backwards, upside down. All you saw was a nest of fiber optics and nothing really of any interest. And one of the guys there was like, no, you're going to like that one. I go, what is it? He's like, that's the house from Deck the Halls. And it's like, well, that's really cool. So
I hope you enjoy these lights. I did them all for you.
Castle Noel is always changing. Last year, the castle unveiled the enchanted I Had That Toyland experience, showing off a very impressive collection of toys, including moving Hot Wheels, playsets, action figures, and for you G.I. Joe fans, they have a USS flag. Some of the most impressive props are from the 1985 Santa Claus the movie. While the movie has flaws, I believe the look of the movie is amazing and is clearly one of the best representations of Santa Claus's North Pole.
To me, Santa Claus the movie is the single greatest North Pole set you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
And hands down the best Santa sleigh. Like, it really feels like you could put all those presents in the back of Santa's sleigh.
Mark acquired both of the miniature Santa sleigh and reindeer set used to make the Santa fly.
And a fan of my artwork contacted me from England, said, I worked on this movie and I got this. And would you do some signed pieces for me of your work? And so I was like, wow, you know? So it was so cool. We got to bring that back. And at the time that was put on a ship to be sent over, a container ship rolled. And it was like 4 days of real worry because a container ship rolled and a whole bunch of containers fell off on the ship coming from England to the States. So until we got verification, Santa's sleigh was not on there. We were really nervous. But in the time since then, you know, I acquired both the sleigh and then 2 reindeer and then 4 reindeer. And most of the time, like when they go out to save Patch, there's only 6 reindeer attached to the sleigh. So we have that set. But then through a private sale at Planet Hollywood, we were able to get a hold of the other set. So there's 2 sets. When they make movies, you know, they don't make one. What if somebody fell down with the sleigh and broke it? So they make a couple of them. And these were both the miniatures used in the flying scenes.
Yeah.
And so we've now got both set A and set B.
Oh, nice.
And if you look at the skins on them, this is very, very old, very fragile. Foam latex is like super flexible when it's new and super dried out and crispy when it gets older. There's nothing really to stop that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't want to eliminate what was actually on film, but I do have the original molds for the skins. So now that we have set B of the reindeer, I think I'm going to use some of those reindeer with their cages so that you can see them moving, and then actually make some new skins for a couple of them.
Cool.
The film used real reindeer, but also created animatronic deer for some of the close-up shots. One of those scenes is when Patch is in the reindeer pen to care and feed for Donner. Castle Noel has the Donner animatronic, and it is in amazing condition.
Well, yeah, Donner is was from an auction, but what's interesting is back in the days early on, that fella that lived in London, who was in the neighborhood where the movie was filmed. So a lot of stuff kind of got dispersed into the villages, right? And he had found a box full of all the harnesses. So I've had the harnesses for years. When the deer came up for auction, it did not have the harnesses. So it's really cool to be able to have had the harnesses. It's like a constant puzzle trying to find this and go to there. So it's really, really neat to have this. To me, this is just spectacular.
Yeah.
We also have one of the animatronic reindeer from the Santa Claus 2 movie.
Okay.
Which is really cool. I'll show you that.
The one that
later.
farts?
Oh, it's not the one that ate all the candy.
Yeah.
Same reindeer, not as overweight at the time.
Okay.
So, but yeah, they make more than 1 or 2. When I was able to get my hands on this, it's just like so exciting. Castle Noel is constantly being worked on. It's like, it's never done. It's always, you come at the perfect time and you come just before you could see something else. It's just the way it's always going to be. This room this year is going to be gutted and then turned into what it felt like in the movie, the giant beams.
Oh, awesome.
The whole thing. So there's going to be a little bit of that going on.
And when is that going to happen?
Oh, next year we'll work on that.
You could see Patch's costume he wore during the commercial for the Magical Lollipop.
Elves make toys. Here's a Christmas treat for you girls and boys.
And Mark has recently acquired one of the elf beds.
This is one of the elf beds from Santa Claus the movie. I think it would be fun if we kind of restored it and then put a mattress in it. And wouldn't it be fun to have like an Airbnb room where you could sleep, your kids could sleep and watch the movie and sleep in one of the elf beds? I think that would be awesome.
Does that have like the...
It doesn't have a name on it. It has a slipper.
The flipper on it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. It's a little too small for you.
It's a little too small for most.
You could try.
Mark also has a love for this film and shared the one prop that he wished he could find.
But I've always wanted the full-size sleigh from Santa Claus the movie. I had a line on it a couple of times, but now I've heard some sad news that at one point it was donated to a startup film museum in England, and they had no room for it indoors, and it sat outdoors, and then it was just dismantled. That's what I hear. But maybe some magical Christmas moment, somebody dismantled it, took it home, and somebody's going to call me up one day and say, I have all these pieces, and I will put it all back together.
Throughout the museum are a variety of other props, including Arnold Schwarzenegger's Turbo Man from Jingle All the Way, Arnold's head. You can also get a glimpse of props from all 3 Tim Allen Santa Claus films, including the sweater he borrows from Neil in the second film. And guess what? It's just as awful looking in person. And yes, that there is an RV.
Oh, that's an RV.
No longer parked in Clark's driveway, Cousin Eddie's recreational vehicle is on full display at the museum. The vehicle was acquired from Los Angeles and was driven across the country to Medina, Ohio.
It's unbelievable. This is the actual RV that Randy Quaid drove to see Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation.
The RV is a 1973 Ford Condor II, made to look like it's falling apart, but that rust is not real. It was painted on. I peered into the RV and luckily saw no signs of the rubber sheets or gerbils.
We could use a little private time together. Honey, why don't you run and get the kids' things and don't forget the rubber sheets and the gerbils.
And of course, this is the RV that he used to kidnap Clark's boss, Frank Shirley.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, Clark! You about ready to do some kissing? Huh?
It's pretty amazing, and you can only see it at Castle Noel in Medina, Ohio.
With such a huge collection, I was surprised to hear when he told me that he sold only one piece of movie memorabilia over the years.
Just that right now.
Okay.
We did have an amazing item, and it was the only item we've ever sold, and we'll never sell another item.
You're gonna tell me? You're not gonna say what the item was?
It was the opening scene sleighing reindeer from the storefront.
Oh,
Santa tells them
in the window.
It's in the wrong place, and that's it. That's all we're talking about.
I'm sorry to bring up bad memories.
Mark proclaims that he will never do that again and only will add to the collection. When I visited in September, they were working on some great new improvements.
Yeah, Castle Noel's always in progress. Frosty the Snowman from Christmas with the Cranks and all the costumes have always been in this location, although we're on that wall. And now they're moving over to more space where Frosty will actually be on a roof. Of course, Frosty, when you're wondering what I'm talking about, this is Frosty Tim Allen put on the roof, right? So he goes there. Now this is not just a display of Frosty. I like things to do things. So I'm not going to give away what Frosty does, but Frosty does something pretty amazing. And we have other hidden special effects in this room. So the new Frosty the Snowman display is, it's going to be a thrill. So everything on this side of the room will be themed out for Fred Claus. Roofs over the doors. You can see the stonework and the plaster. There's going to be a gable roof that sticks out real far and comes back. Another mansard roof over there. So this is also going to have some really cool little special effect that goes with it. So that every inch of this place we constantly are going through and adding and making new things. So
I know you had the jacket from Fred Claus. Is there other things that you have?
We have the elf costumes from Fred Claus, and we're always looking. You know, there's so many cool things from Fred Claus, and they've never been seen. Like all that, like that snowmobile and the sleigh. I mean, I have guys that I know that are in the business that usually know where this stuff is, and I haven't seen hide nor hair of any of the big North Pole Fred Claus props.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're in some magical warehouse, sitting there waiting for me to find it.
Yeah.
The biggest news is that while Mark may have sold an original prop from Miracle on 34th Street, he has acquired another one. The original Santa suit worn by Edwin Gwynn.
Of course, Miracle on 34th Street, we have acquired the original 1947 Miracle on 34th Street Edwin Gwynn costume, the Santa Claus suit. So we're super excited about that.
So how is it in good shape still?
It is in pretty good shape.
Okay.
Of course, it's very old, 1947. Yeah. So it has some repairs that were done by the studio for other productions. Because when they did movies like this, they didn't take a suit and use it and put it away forever.
Yeah.
Okay. They took the suit, and then if they needed it for somebody else, they would change the suit. Mm-hmm. And then actually, the suit shows the modifications to turn it into Edwin Gwynn's Santa suit. Because there were some modifications made because he was slightly bigger than the person who used it before.
Yeah.
So there's some modifications that actually turned it into the suit.
After you are guided through the museum, you will have the opportunity to visit with Santa if you come around the holidays. After you give one more plea for an official Red Ryder Carbine Action 200-shot range model air rifle, you are pushed down the slide, concerned that Santa's going to bring you a football for Christmas.
It's the big moment where you get to be a movie star.
Oh, man.
Yay!
But of course, smile as you're going down so you can purchase a photo of your experience. I have been visiting Castle Noel since it opened in 2013. I've seen it change every year, making a reason to return. Plus, it's extremely fun. There's so much to see, and I only showed you a small amount. Make your plans now to visit Castle Noel this Christmas season. I suggest you visit castlenoel.com to purchase your tickets. When you're there, take some time to explore the town of Medina and get yourself some of those donuts.
So that was my experience at Castle Noel. This museum is truly... Oh my God. So that was my experience at Castle Noel. This is truly an amazing museum, and I want to thank Mark for showing me around, telling me a little history of the props that he's got. Come check it out, Medina, Ohio, Castle Noel, props, screen used, costumes, all sorts of stuff to check out. I'm the Christmas Aficionado, and remember, stay off the naughty list.